Well, India is not the only country who has adopted and introduced a scheme like Agnipath. Countries like US, Russia, Israel, China and France have also running this type of recruitment scheme from long. Then why such a huge controversy in India? Why 36 buses of UP Transport Corporation were completely damaged, coaches of 60 trains along with 11 engines were totally burned, different stalls at the railway station have been burned along with other railway properties have been vandalized. 12 lakh people had to cancel their trip and more than 1000 trains were either completely or partially cancelled. Railway has reported a loss of 1000 crores. 1000 crores, my friend, which could have been used to improve education and healthcare facilities in our country. But before discussing about the protest, let's talk about the most controversial scheme, Agnipath. On June 14, 2022, the Defence Minister of India, along with the Chief of Air Force, Navy and Army, introduced a new scheme for recruiting soldiers below the rank of commissioned officers into the three services of armed forces. This scheme is the only way for recruitment into the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force. Hence, any aspirant who would like to join the armed forces in the rank of Havaldar, Nayak or Sipahi has to go through this Agnipath recruitment scheme. As part of this scheme, both male and female aspirants will be recruited in the age group of 17.5 to 21 years. But you might be knowing that from 2019, there has been no recruitment in the armed forces due to COVID. Then what about the applicants who are now at the age of 22 but have been preparing for last 2 years? And this is the first reason why people were protesting. To address the concern, the government has increased the age limit from 21 to 23 years only for the aspirants applying in 2022. So those applicants who were at the age of 21 in 2020 do not feel that Agnipath scheme is a missed opportunity. In 2022, the government aims to recruit around 46,000 young people under this scheme and they will be called as Agniveer. Agniveer will be a new rank between the officer and the Jawan categories, and every year this count of recruiting Agniveers will be increased by 10%. Each Agniveer will serve in defense for 4 years, which will include 6 months of training and 3.5 years of active service. During these 4 years of service, each Agniveer will earn a salary package of 30,000 rupees per month in the first year, and out of which 30% of the salary, that is 9,000 rupees, will be deducted towards Agniveer's corpus fund. Now, along with Agniveer, the government of India will also contribute 9,000 rupees every month to the corpus fund. So in the first year, every month an Agniveer will receive 21,000 rupees in hand and 18,000 rupees will be deposited to the corpus fund. Similarly, in the second year, there will be 10% hike on the salary and Agniveer will receive 23,000 rupees per month in hand and 19,800 rupees per month will be deposited to the corpus fund. At the end of 4 years, the corpus fund will have total of 11.71 lakh rupees, which will be given to each Agniveer as a Seva Nidhi package, and this amount will be completely tax-free. After completing 4 years, only 25% of each specific batch of Agniveer will be retained and enrolled in the armed forces, and they will be required to serve a further engagement period of minimum 15 years. Now, the question is, what about the other 75% of Agniveers? Will they not be a part of defense force anymore? Will they be unemployed again? And this is the second reason why people were protesting. So as per this scheme, it has been announced that the remaining 75% of Agniveers will be infused to the civil society with a lump sum amount of 11.71 lakh rupees, and the government has promised to generate employment for them. Let's have a look at some of the benefits that government has announced for remaining 75% of Agniveers. The union government promised to reserve 10% of the post in the Home and Defence Ministries for Agniveers. Our Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said 10% of the job in the Indian Coast Guard will be reserved for Agniveers. Union Minister Amit Shah announced that 10% of the seats of Agniveer will be reserved in the Central Armed Police Forces and Assam Rifles. Similarly, Madhya Pradesh government has also announced that after serving in army, the state police will consider recruiting the Agniveers first. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and Assam have also announced similar benefits. Apart from the BJP-ruled government, several industrialists have extended their support to the Agnipath scheme. Now, government has also announced insurance benefits like each Agniveer will be covered by 48 lakh rupees of non-contributory life insurance policy during his service. An additional ex gratia of 44 lakh rupees will be provided for each death due to service. There is also compensation based on the percentage of disability laid down by medical authorities. Now, if you compare the older recruitment scheme with Agnipath, there are a lot more facilities given by the government in Agnipath scheme. However, the basic necessity of a government job aspirant is job security and pension, and these two things have not been taken into consideration. Let's understand why. Why this scheme in India is absolutely necessary from government standpoint. So, India's defense budget for 2022 to 2023 is 5.25 lakh crore rupees, out of which 1.2 lakh crore is the pension component. A defense expert says that around 55% of military budget goes into pension and salary. It has been estimated that the total amount of salary and pension a Jawan withdraws after 17 years of employment will be 11.5 crore rupees, more than what is given to an Agniveer. So, merely by trimming only 100 soldiers from the defense, the army will save around 1150 crore rupees. And this money could be used to modernize military with latest weapons, latest vehicles and latest equipments that could make our army insanely powerful. Now, because of all these three reasons, the young aspirants along with the people in opposition are unhappy. However, the most important reason behind Agnipath scheme is to reduce the average age of army from 32 to 26 years. The defense aims that after a certain number of years, there should be young and experienced people in defense in the right proportion. So via this new recruitment scheme, the government wants to achieve a 50-50 ratio, and this is why the Chief of Indian Army, Navy and Air Force are supporting the scheme. Now, despite of everything, the stance of our armed forces is very clear. They have firmly said that the recruitment scheme will not be taken back, and moreover, this is a win-win situation for everyone. The army becomes powerful with young Jawans and with the latest technology, and for the Jawans, it's providing insurance, a decent salary, a lump sum amount of 11.71 lakh rupees and other employments for Agniveer who have retired after 4 years. Now, coming back to the protest, I have one question specifically to all those protesters who are responsible for this huge loss. Do you know what public property means? Who provides the money for constructing and maintaining these public properties? Yes, it's we, the citizen of this country who pays for everything in the form of tax. The train coaches, the engines and the buses that got burned, the public property that got destroyed, everything will be recovered from us. It is not the government that will pay from its own pocket to repair all these damages. And moreover, it is the common people who will suffer till the time all these damages gets repaired. Now my simple question here is, has the common man introduced this scheme? Then why, after the protest, ordinary people will suffer? There have been reports that protesters have also attacked some ministers' property. Please try to understand that it is not the ministers who have implemented this scheme. The chiefs of Indian Army, Navy and Air Force have taken decisions and are supporting this scheme. Remember, these people are not politicians and they do not have any hidden agenda. Every protest can be done in a peaceful way. I know there are some people who intentionally commit these acts, but it is our responsibility not to get provoked by them or join them. I am neither for nor against Agnipath, but I am totally against the destruction of public property for any reason whatsoever, whatever it may be. So if this video makes sense to you, then please share this message to educate others about this burning issue of Agnipath. Jai Hind.